Hey, welcome into the round pen with Aequitas here. Just thought I'd show you, he's getting pretty good about just letting me walk up to him and halter him, catch him, whatnot. He's doing fine. As you can tell by the snow here, we've had some pretty bad weather here in Oklahoma, and most of the country has the last week. So he has not been worked for 6 days. It's been 6 days since I worked him. I have turned him out in the arena a couple of times. I have picked up his feet in the stall, you know, just messed with him a little bit. But, you know, when it's 5 below zero, sorry, I just normally, when it's that cold, run out here and throw hay to the horses and run back in the house crying like a little girl. That's mostly what I do. Okay, and so I've done this not every day, but most days while it was cold. I'd go in his stall and do this. So it's getting better, you know, not perfect. His back right is the one that he's the most touchy about still. So I'm gonna show you how I'm gonna work with that here in a minute. And so that's good right there. He's pretty good with his front feet. Good job. This is the one he usually tries to give me a little bit of trouble about. Normally he'll pick it up and then he'll kind of kick a little bit. But he didn't that time. Hey, good job, old bud. Good job. That's real good. Okay, so he's almost to the point where I think a fairy could work on him. Almost. If he didn't get scared and upset, you know, probably could do that. Now, what I'm going to do here, all of this I've done before, most of it anyway, in terms of hobbling him and messing with him. I had mentioned on a previous video that he needed to be hobbled, and this was maybe a month ago, and I said, I don't know if he could handle it. But he got to where he could handle it, and he did actually handle it quite well. Okay, and of course my horses are standing on the other side of the fence there, so that's a draw to him. He'd rather be with them than with you and me. So this is something I do with every horse, regardless of what they're about. Every horse needs to be able to handle restraints on their feet. And I've done this part here several times, quite a few actually, as far as putting that foot up and having him move around on 3 legs. I think it's a very, very important exercise for a horse to be able to do, like this right here. Come here and just take a wrap like that. So I've probably done this, I don't know, half a dozen times. Good, I want him to be able to just hop around on 3 legs and realize he's not gonna die. Don't hop on top of me, go that way. Keep going, and woo, woo. Good, lick and chew, okay. So, now he couldn't have handled that when he first came in. This is, he's been here 2 months. This is week 8, or going on 2 months. Don't run off, Bubba. So that's just freshness because he hadn't been messed with in 6 days. He's a little fresh. Not too bothered by that. All right, let me do the other side. It should be about the same as far as getting that foot up. Okay. So what we need to be able to do with our horses is we need to be able to create motion. In other words, they need to move when I say, and they need not move when I say. So we need to be able to restrict motion. They also need to be able to handle ropes and anything else around them anytime, anywhere, any place, for any reason. There's an old Tom Dorrance saying, which I'm sure is true, and that is that there's not a bad place on a horse to hang a rope. Okay, and so he needs to be able to handle that and realize he can live through it, not going to kill him. And I didn't actually ask him to move, he just did it because he was anxious. Good. Good boy. Okay. And if I'd not done this before, I'd do it several more times. But since I've done it before, this is just a reminder, refresher for him about this. All right, good. Next thing is I'm going to actually hobble his front legs, which I have done once before. And that, by the way, what I just did, that's your preparation for hobbling. I don't recommend that you just take any horse, colt or whatever, and just put hobbles on their front legs and you've never restricted their feet, never put ropes around their legs, because you'll scare them usually pretty bad if you do that. But if they're used to that, then they're probably going to be okay with this right here. Okay? And he's evading me a little bit. And I'm going to address that here in a minute as far as explain some things to you guys. All right. So these are the hobbles I like to use because they're pretty easy to get on and off. Little rope hobbles, you just twist them a couple of times. Put that little loop through there and you're set. Okay. Okay, so I've done this once before. He did not overreact too much. He just pretty much did that right there. It's amazing how quickly horses figure out they can hop with hobbles on their front legs. Okay, anybody who's ever been in the backcountry and hobbled a horse overnight thinking they wouldn't go anywhere kind of found out that they can. All right, so I want him to just stand there unless I ask him not to. Good. Good. Okay, now what I'm going to ask him to do is yield his hindquarters and just keep his front feet still. Just yield your hindquarters there. Good. Step around. Step around. Come on. Step around. There. Good. I'd like him to cross over. Good. So I'm just teaching him to handle pressure and restraint. Good. See if he'll lick and chew. There, he did. There, good. Good. Stick with me, buddy. Good, all right. Let's yield his hindquarters the other direction. Okay. Good. Good. So he's not really crossing his hind. There, he crossed over. Good. 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 Okay. All right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to side hobble this right side. I did this once before, but I only did the left side. And as I mentioned, the right hind is the one that I have the most trouble picking up. So I'm going to take the front hobbles off. And I could leave them on, but then it makes it a little harder for him to do anything. I want him to be able to deal with it. Okay. All right, good boy. There we go. All right, these are a little more difficult to get on. Okay, he might be a little fussier about it. Let's see here. Okay. Okay. And bear with me because it does take a little bit of time to get these buckled where they won't come loose when he starts messing with them. But he's handling it pretty nicely, I'd say. Good boy. Being real patient about it. And it may look like I'm in a kind of a dangerous position, but I'm really not. The chances of him kicking me in the head right here are not very high. I would be able to move out of the way if I saw him start to move. Okay, that just comes with lots of experience. All right, good. So he's handling that fine. Now we'll do the fronts. Okay. And this one right here, the side hobbles, I don't necessarily do that with every single horse. But if I've got one that's really having trouble, especially with their back feet, you notice, see what he did? He didn't really fight it. He just dropped his head and took a couple steps and said, okay, nice, nice.